Artificial intelligence can either make you a lot better at the SAT, or it can make you much worse. And if you use AI to avoid thinking, it will destroy you. AI will give you explanations, summaries, flashcards, maybe even study plans, but it will never give you the skills you need on test day. But if you use AI correctly, it can become one of the most powerful tools you have. It can act like a tutor, give you feedback in real time. It can help you analyze your mistakes. It can help you turn your lesson notes into flashcards, and it can help you build a smarter study plan. And the key is this: you cannot be using AI to do the thinking for you. Use AI to do better thinking. In this video, we're going to cover 10 powerful, wonderful ways that will make you stronger at your SAT prep. And I want you to watch out for the last way, because there's an area of the SAT I don't want you to be using AI. Point 1, use AI as an SAT tutor, not an answer machine. I know what you guys are doing. You take a screenshot of a math problem, you throw it into ChatGPT, and it spits out an answer. And I know it could feel like learning because you know the answer, you could take a look at the steps, and you say to yourself, okay, that makes sense. But this has nothing to do with your ability to do the same thing on test day. So here's the shift. Instead of asking AI to tell you the answer, ask AI to tutor you through this question. Say, act as an SAT tutor if you want, and say, walk me through this problem step by step. Do not move on to the next step until I give you the answer to the previous one. If I make a mistake, don't just correct me. Give me a hint. Help me learn. Help me recognize the underlying concept that is being tested. I use multiple prompts for this, and of course, I share these prompts with my students. And the reason I don't want to give you the exact prompt here is because my prompts are always evolving. They're always getting better. So if you are in one of my programs, if you're in the boost, if you are a student at IB Tutors Network, just email me and I'll give you my most recent, fresh off Katya's stove prompt. They're changing daily. I'm always making them better. I'm making them crisper. Whenever we're talking about SAT math, the question that always comes up is, well, Katya, what about Desmos? Desmos is great. I love Desmos. But there is a limitation to what Desmos can do for your score, especially for my 780, 800 scorers, those who desire the absolute highest SAT math score. I want you to use AI to work on your reasoning, and I want you to use Desmos to speed up the execution. If you're not sure why you're creating a regression, why you're using tilde, why you're using a list, and what that does, it only works on the surface level. It only works on your mechanics. And it will probably not work on test day if you don't have the underlying reasoning and understanding how this works. College Board is really good at de-Desmoing itself. So yes, ask for the step-by-step explanation and ask AI, like, hey, is there a shortcut that I could use on my calculator or on Desmos? That's not a problem. But the order needs to be reasoning, then execution. A lot of you jump for the execution and the scores show. Point 2, once you stop asking AI for the answer, the next level is to start asking AI to think about the question from the perspective of the person who wrote it. Because the SAT questions are not random, somebody designed that question. Somebody chose the wording, the numbers, the traps, the graph, the sentences, and there were hundreds and hundreds of people who tested that question. There's a lot of testing that happens before you see the question that shows up either in the question bank or on your actual test. Instead of asking, how do I solve this? Ask AI to help you understand, what was the test designer trying to test here? Ask for the underlying skill. Another prompt I like is ask AI what error or what fallacy, like logical, or what knowledge gap or what skill gap was this question trying to catch? This is a completely different way of approaching studying for the SAT, in my opinion. I often say in my classes that the College Board is really good at catching students who can't understand what they're reading, because they're catching students who are looking for keywords. The College Board is also really good at catching students, at weeding out students, exposing students who don't understand the fundamental mathematical principles. They do that with interpretation questions, when students need to look at the formula and then explain what is the significance of X. You can't do that if you don't have the underlying reasoning necessary to understand a function. So asking AI to tell you what gap is this question trying to expose is a completely different approach. Because a lot of the SAT questions are not hard because the reading is impossible or the math is impossible, because they look like they're testing one thing while they're actually testing another. And once you understand what that is, what else is missing? Nothing. Once the skill is no longer disguised, you can just go ahead and start working on it. Number 3, give AI better context, especially the official College Board information. A lot of you probably know this, but AI works a lot better when you give it context. Even better if you upload a few official documents from the College Board, where they're explaining the rationale behind creating their questions so that the engine becomes better. What good tutors do in real life, they study the official documentation from the College Board. They study the Blue Book. They study the Blue Book over the years. They see how it's changing, and they try to understand and see through and read between the lines what the College Board is actually saying. In order for you to train your AI so that it becomes a better tutor, you need to do the same thing. You can upload a bunch of documents into the folder if you're working off of your local computer so that your AI often has access to it and understands the underlying logic. Point 4, ask AI, why is this reading comprehension question hard? Reading comprehension is making meaning from text without any external help. So if you're using AI to understand what the passage is saying, you're not doing reading comprehension. You're not practicing reading comprehension. You're practicing listening to explanations. So the way to make AI work is have it come in only after the first pass. You read the sentence, you read the passage, and then you can use one of those tools like Whisper. You could speak into AI what you made this passage mean, what you made this particular sentence mean, and then get direct feedback on whether you captured the main ideas or you missed them. And this is why a lot of high school students, in spite of being surrounded with really difficult texts, they're not the ones who are actually practicing making meaning from those texts. They're surrounded with slide decks, videos, teacher explanations, charts, rubrics. So the key is this. You throw in the passage, you throw in the sentence. Instead of asking, hey, what does this mean? Ask, hey, here's what I think it means. Am I correct? Did I miss anything? If so, how did that happen? And that shift protects your reading skill. You try, and then you get feedback. You're kind of using AI as a coach. You do something, your coach observes. I think for those of you who've ever had any skiing lessons, you're doing something for the first time, your coach is observing you. Sometimes my coach would even record me on the camera, and then we would watch it. I would see it, and the coach would give me feedback on the things I independently tried. I did not just watch my skiing coach ski and sit there and think, my skiing coach is really good at that. No one's going to be sitting next to you at the testing center, explaining to you how this histogram works, explaining to you which cells to look at the table, and how to tell the story of the chart or graph and how it is connected to the passage. Thinking comes first, feedback and guidance comes next. Number 6, this is important. You can use those speech to text tools to help yourself get almost like a live tutoring experience with an AI tutor. You can start by pasting a difficult sentence from a reading comprehension passage on the SAT. And instead of asking AI, hey, explain what it means, I want you first to pause, read it for yourself, think about what it means, and then speak into the text what you think it means. And then ask AI to correct you. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? What did I miss? Why did I miss it? And how can I not miss those things in the future? Ask AI to train you. This is so powerful. A lot of students think they understand the sentence, or they convince themselves that they understand the sentence until you ask them to explain it. And even then they could say, well, I know what it says, I just can't explain it. And my challenge to my students is always, well, when I know something and I understand something, the best catalyst of that is that I'm able to explain it. So challenge yourself to explain it. And you will often reveal to yourself that you only have a partial understanding of a sentence. So here's the prompt that I would recommend right now. Tell AI this. I'm going to explain this sentence in my own words. Do not explain it first. After I give my explanation, tell me whether I'm accurate, partially accurate, or inaccurate, and why. And if you practice this enough, you start getting much better at translating complex SAT reading sentences into the words that you actually understand without missing a beat. Turn your lesson transcripts into flashcards. If you're taking classes on Zoom, with me, awesome. Or if you're working with another tutor and they allow you to use AI note takers, remember, you could take those transcripts, you could take those notes and turn them into flashcards. My first company was called Seabers and Method and had this logo. There was a reason behind this logo, because as you can see, these bubbles that are all leaving my students' head. So I would always explain the logo with my students whenever we would talk about memory. I would say every time we learn something new, whether it's a concept or a trap or a formula, there's a chemical change that happens inside of your brain. And it forms one of those little knowledge bubbles. But as you say goodbye to me and you close your laptop or you close the door and you start walking to your home, those little bubbles slowly start to leave your brain. And if you don't review those bubbles, it is guaranteed that after 4 days, you're a complete blank slate. So this is the type of thing that AI is really good for. If you have the transcript, you process the transcript through AI, ask for the most important learning outcomes, ask for the formulas, ask for the insights, ask for the things that your tutor maybe repeated a few times because it is important, and then turn those things into flashcards. Here's the prompt that I would recommend right now. Turn this lesson transcript into flashcards. Focus on the main SAT strategies, common mistakes, key formulas, reading traps, vocabulary, and anything the teacher emphasized. And this tool, this use of AI comes with an important warning. Don't tell me it's a truism. Many of you need to hear this. Nobody is going to do the actual studying for you. Having the study plan does not mean you are executing it. It's kind of like having a fitness program, but never actually going to the gym and exercising it. So yes, create the flashcards, but also create a habit, a consistent habit of maybe right before bed, you are reviewing those flashcards. You're going back to those flashcards. There's a flashcard system that I used to love, which is Anki. And now I kind of switched to Remnote. I find Remnote a little bit more modern and more compatible with AI, but make sure you are doing the work, not AI. Point 8. You can use AI to create an error log. After we take a practice test, we never just look at the score and move on. We obsess over the mistakes. And AI could really help you create those error logs quickly and effectively. You can download your report. You can upload all of the mistakes you made from the College Board, from the Blue Book, if you've taken it on Blue Book. If you are working with a different software, you could do that too. We have our own proprietary software that we use. So you can upload the report with your mistakes into AI and ask for an error log. I have very specific programming for my error log. So I'll just tell you the 3 things that our error log does. Number 1, it gives you an ability to resolve the question. It lets you look at that question without any markings, without any preconceived ideas, without anything, with a fresh head. Sometimes when you look at the question fresh, you can just immediately see what the right answer was and what the wrong answer was. Number 2, it should allow you to know the exact answer choice that you picked after you work through the problem. The good error log allows you to go back in time when you were stressed, when you were taking this practice test, and understand that logical mistake that you've made, because chances are, if you've done this under pressure, if you went that route under pressure, you're going to go there again. We want to understand why, what makes the wrong answer 100% wrong, and what triggered you to go into that direction. And number 3, we always talk about how College Board will always give you 3 100% wrong and 1 100% right answer. And it is your responsibility to understand why the right answer is 100% correct and why the wrong answers are 100% wrong. And with AI, you could do this really quickly. Back in the day, maybe 10 years ago, we would do that manually. We would insert screenshots. We would add those notes in the speaker notes saying, I picked B because, and A is correct because. But now you could do this with AI. You could make it interactive. You could design with learner's intent. We do this for you in our company, but you can also spend some time and program your AI so that it can do it for you. Point 9. Turn your mistakes into a study plan. What we talked about in point 8 is that you can turn your practice test into an error log, but you can also download data from other platforms. If you're using Math Chops, you can pretend that you're printing your level setter and just upload that data. You can upload your data from Excel if you're using it to Trill or any other platform. You can give AI all of that information, and it will help you prioritize what to study next. It will help you identify your most low-hanging fruit. So here's exactly what you could say. Here are my missed questions. Find my biggest knowledge gaps. Tell me what skills I should study first. Build me a 2-week study plan. Give me short interactive lessons for the topics I keep missing. And if your calendar is connected, it's even better because then AI could go into your calendar, find gaps in your calendar, and put those study plans in your calendar. And it would look like this. Instead of saying study math, it's not a real plan. It should look like on Tuesday, spend 30 minutes reviewing systems of equations because you missed 3 equations that required setting up an equation from words. And that's a plan. And number 10, something I've been announcing in the beginning, telling you that this one will surprise you. Number 10 is do not use AI for SAT grammar. Even the most powerful, which is Codex Pro right now, still misses some of the SAT grammar questions. I want to empower you to maybe explore certain topics. Subject-verb agreement, fine. Comma splice, absolutely. Possession, great. Contraction, amazing. Daily modifiers, still. The College Board grammar is so nuanced and it's very particular to the College Board, and it is never contained in any of their documentation explicitly. I would still stay away from relying on AI for any type of grammar reasoning. Here's an example. Here's the question, and I'm going to put it in currently as of June 2026. This is the most powerful AI system. It gets it wrong. So be careful Do not blindly trust the grammar explanations. Obviously, I designed my own and I love it. We call it the 5 blocks. That's the first thing that you go through when you join the membership. It gives you the tools that make grammar feel a lot like math. But as of now, even though this is a large language model and it has seen tens of thousands of pages of text, it is still not 100% reliable when it comes to SAT grammar. SAT has very particular rules when it comes to a colon, when it comes to a single dash, that are not universally observed in literature. And you have to be very careful. In the end, I want to remind you, my chickens, that AI is neither good or bad. If you're using it to replace your thinking, it will weaken your thinking. If we use it to force better thinking, it will improve you. But the biggest takeaway is you cannot use AI so that it studies for you. AI can organize, AI could see patterns, AI can give you explanations, it could give you summaries, it could help you hold your hand as you're going through something step by step, but you are the one doing the studying. And if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up so that I know, and also share in the comments what way was new to you, what way you're now going to start practicing. And if you have some other ideas, also share them in the comments, because this is a collective resource that I want to be sharing with all of you. And maybe there will be a part 2 where a month from now will evolve. I'll change my mind about something. I'll share better prompts. Overall, this was fun. And I know that so many of you are using AI incorrectly. And I want to guide you and support you and champion you so that you could do it to raise your scores rather than to lower them.